بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين. الفيديو ده بيتكلم على Second Physics Unit 1 Chapter 2 Subject of Sound. It is produced by vibrations of objects like vibrations of stretched strings or air molecules or air columns and the tuning fork. It is produced by vibrations of objects like vibrations of stretched strings or vibrations of air columns or vibrations of tuning fork. Sound travels in form of longitudinal waves. Sound travels in form of longitudinal waves. The air molecules are displaced forward and backward along the direction of the wave. يبقى بعدين forward and backward يعني in the same direction of wave propagation. Thus it generates compression and refractions. The compression is a region where the molecules of the medium are very close to each other and the pressure is higher than the normal pressure. The rarefaction is a region where the molecules of the medium are further away from each other and the pressure is lower than normal pressure. Second Physics Unit 1 Chapter 2 Sound Reflection. Second Physics Unit 1 Chapter 2 Sound Reflection. Sound reflection. It is the rebounding of the sound wave to the opposite direction when it faces obstacles. يبقى reflection rebounding of the sound wave to the opposite direction when it faces obstacles يعني عائق. طيب نيجي بعد كده law of reflection. Law of reflection. Number 1, angle of incidence phi equal angle of reflection theta. يبقى angle of incidence phi equal angle of reflection theta. Incident wave and reflected wave and normal of reflection are in the same plane perpendicular to reflecting surface. ادي عندي reflecting surface or obstacle. طيب وبعدين ده اسمه normal of reflection. بعد كده عندي ايه؟ عندي incident sound ray. يبقى the angle between incident sound ray and normal of reflection is called angle of incidence which is denoted phi. طيب بعد كده this sound ray will be reflected to the same medium again like that. The angle between reflected sound ray and the normal is called angle of reflection which is called theta. يبقى احنا بنقول ايه؟ angle of incidence phi will equal angle of reflection theta. طيب incident wave, reflected wave, normal of reflection اهو incident wave, reflected wave, normal of reflection all in the same plane perpendicular to reflecting surface or obstacle. Characteristics of reflection. It obeys law of reflection اللي هي الانجل of incidence equal angle of reflection والincident ray والrefracted ray والnormal of reflection all lie in the same plane. طيب بعد كده wavelengths will not change wavelength of the wave will not change. The frequency will not change. Velocity of wave will not change because we are in the same medium. Intensity of wave will decrease. ليه intensity of wave will decrease? Due to absorption of some energy by the reflecting surface. echo. صدى الصوت echo. It is the repetition of hearing sound. يبقى الإيكو repetition of hearing sound. ليه؟ due to its reflection. To hear echo, the distance between source of sound and reflecting surface must be not less than 16 meter. First of all, ear cannot distinguish between two sounds. The time interval between them is less than 10 seconds. So 2 times d, لأن الsound will be reflected again, equal velocity of sound 320 divided by 10, which is the time interval during which ear can distinguish between two successive sounds. يبقى d will equal 32 divided by 2 equal 16 meter. يعني echo cannot be heard if the distance between the source of sound and reflecting surface is less than 16 meter. refraction of waves. يعني احنا بنتكلم على sound waves here. refraction of waves. It is the change of wave direction when a wave passes through one medium to another. يبقى refraction of waves, it is the change of wave direction when a wave passes through one medium to another. Refraction happens due to difference in densities and dimensions between the two media. Refraction happens due to difference in densities and dimension between the two media. During refraction, direction changes, yes, velocity changes due to change in media, wavelength changes, frequency kept constant. During refraction, direction changes, velocity changes due to changes in media, wavelength changes, frequency kept constant. If a sound wave travels from less dense medium air to more dense medium water, its velocity will increase and its wavelength increase. ليه؟ لأن velocity of sound in water more than velocity of sound in air. طيب, if a wave travels from more dense medium water to less dense medium air, the velocity will decrease لأن راحة لميديم الvelocity فيها أقل اللي هي الاير, and its wavelength decrease. When sound ray passes from air to water, يعني less dense medium to more dense medium, ادي عندي ده reflecting surface أو boundary surface between two media, between air and water. ده normal of reflection. ده incident ray in air, angle between incident ray and normal is called phi, angle of incidence. ده refracted ray changes direction اهو. الانجل between normal and refracted ray is theta. يبقى هنا عندي ايه؟ هنا عندي sound ray passes from air which is less dense medium to more dense medium اللي هو الووتر. ايه اللي هيحصل؟ احنا عارفين ان law of refraction velocity of the first medium اللي هو velocity of air, velocity of sound in air to velocity of sound in water equal sin phi, يعني sin angle of incidence to sin angle of refraction. طيب عندي velocity of sound in air less than velocity of sound in water، يبقى إذن على طول sin phi less than sin theta، يعني phi angle of incidence less than angle of refraction. بدم angle of incidence less than angle of refraction يبقى الray will refract away from normal، يبقى ray will refract away from normal. طيب لو بقى عندي when sound ray pass from water to air، يبقى from water to air ادي الباوندري surface between the two media، وبعدين عندي الايه النورمال اوف ريفراكشن، وبعدين عندي هنا في water which is more dense medium to air which is less dense medium. يبقى في عندي هنا ray pass from water to air it will refract towards normal. طب ليه؟ لأن ال V water على ال V velocity of sound in water to the velocity of sound in air equal sin phi angle of incidence divided by sin theta angle of refraction. هنا عندي ال velocity of water، ال velocity of sound in water more than velocity of sound in air. Velocity of sound in water more than velocity of sound in air، يبقى phi أكبر من theta. بدل phi أكبر من theta يبقى الray will refract towards normal. phi أكبر من theta يبقى الray will refract towards normal.